So in a certain manufacturing process, the cost of producing a single item varies inversely. So varies inversely, and this one gives us a power that gives us the square of the number of items produced. If 100 items are produced, each costs $1.50. Now, let's find the cost per item if 250 items are produced. So let's go ahead and set up our steps here. So step 1, we want to go ahead and determine / write the general relationship among the variables and use the constant k. So step 1, we want to go ahead and set up / determine our general relationship. So I'll go ahead and abbreviate relationship, and then we want to go ahead and use / find our constant k. So use constant k. So this one tells us varies inversely, and it gave us a power, and that is going to be the degree of 2. So y is equal to, and it told us varies inversely, so again that k is going to be on top, and x is going to be raised to the second. So let's go ahead and figure out what our y and what our x represents. So in other words, we know that the cost per item can be equal to, so cost per item is equal to, in this case k, we don't know what k is, but we want to solve it, and then it told us, in this case, the square of the number of items produced. So in other words, we can go ahead and take the number of items and square it. So number of items raised to the second. Okay, let's go ahead and substitute our first set of given values to find k. So substituting our first set of values, that's going to be the 100 and the cost, which is $1.50. So let's go ahead and take these values and plug them in. $1.50 is going to be equal to k, which we don't know what it is, but we want to find it. And then how many items? 100 squared. Now we can find k. 100 squared is going to give me 10,000. So I can multiply 10,000 on each side here. And that should give me a k equal to 15,000. And that step was step number 2. Okay. We can now move on to step number 3, where we substitute the value of k back into our original. So we can now take our k and plug it in right here to get our general equation. So step number 3, let's go ahead and do so. We know that our k is 15,000, and now we can figure out what our general formula is. So now we'll take 15,000 and divide it by our number of items and go ahead and square that as well. Now we can move on to step number 4, and step number 4 says to substitute our second set of values in order to find our given info that we want. So let's go ahead and combine step 4 and step 5. Let's go ahead and substitute our second set of values to find our unknown. So in this case, if we scroll back up to the top, we see that we want to go ahead and find the cost per item if 250 items are produced. Now, let's go ahead and plug this information back into our equation here. So we want to find our cost per item. So cost per item, that is now going to be equal to 15,000 divided by our number of items, and we know that our number of items for our second set is 250, and we can take that and square it. So what is that going to give us? That is going to give us a 0.24, or in other words, we could say 24 cents.